Hi, I'm Tim Draper, and I'm sorry I'm not there in Abu Dhabi with you at the TradeFinex conference. I'm really excited about what you're doing, though. I love the sandbox idea. I love the idea that people are experimenting with new government programs to allow all of these interesting new technologies to flourish. So I think we're all going to be better off because of what you're doing now. What I'm seeing out there in the world is that Bitcoin and all the associated technologies with Bitcoin and artificial intelligence and all the associated technologies with artificial intelligence are going to potentially transform the biggest industries in the world the way the internet transformed communications and information and gaming and entertainment and media. The new businesses that are going to be transformed are going to be even bigger. We're going to see the transformation of insurance and healthcare and banking and commerce and finance of all kinds and government itself. We're going to see some of the biggest transformations in the history of the world. In fact, I believe with this concept of decentralization that geographic borders are going to be less relevant over the future. And we're going to be able to be really just one globe. And that one globe is going to open up all sorts of opportunities for us through decentralized technologies. So Bitcoin being the first has opened the way to very much moving society from being tribal, where we are all tied to geographic borders, to global, where we are all open and we can move freely around the world. This is a future that's not too far into the distance, and it's one where we should all embrace. And I've noticed that some countries are very reticent to embrace it, and some countries are very much embracing it. One example is the Chinese government. They put a big block on Bitcoin. And when the Japanese government heard that, the Japanese government said, Bitcoin's a national currency in Japan. So this dynamic opened the door for a lot of Chinese entrepreneurs to go to Japan to run their businesses. That kind of thing's happening all over the world. And this is really one of the greatest times in the history of the world for all of us. Going a little deeper into the technologies, Bitcoin is a currency that is transparent. Everybody can see what's going on the blockchain. It's open, it's geographically open, it's global, it's frictionless, it doesn't cost 2.5% or 4% every time you walk in and sweep a credit card. It doesn't pay your bank 2.5% to 4%. All that velocity of money is going to continue to increase, and as a result, we're all going to be a lot wealthier all the way around the world because the velocity of money will really increase with Bitcoin. The blockchain is really interesting because it has the ability to keep perfect records. So it keeps perfect records of Bitcoin, and other currencies, and it also keeps perfect records of data. And that can be incredibly valuable going forward. It can also make it so that an accountant can move to a higher level of service because a lot of the bookkeeping and the auditing and the accounting can all be done on the blockchain. One day, I imagine that in venture capital, I'm a venture capitalist, that I will raise my funds in Bitcoin and they will be deployed in Bitcoin to a bunch of different companies, and then those companies will pay their employees and suppliers in Bitcoin, and all of the records will be perfectly kept on the blockchain. And so that the accountants can think of higher level things, other ways of improving service to their customers. Similarly, I can imagine smart contracts. The ability of a smart contract to build into software what a contract should look like is a big breakthrough, and it will also allow, much the way the The blockchain is allowing the accountants to perform a better service. A smart contract can allow a lawyer to provide a better service, a higher level service, because the contract will be built into software. That is coming very soon, and that is really extraordinary. Now, there were a lot of complaints about Bitcoin being not fast enough, but now with OpenNode, Bitcoin can be faster than the Visa network. And so that part is now a big opportunity for new entrepreneurs to go out there and really improve the world economy. This is a major breakthrough, major opportunity. And then AI, my son says that AI is going to take all of our jobs. And I think it's good for all of us to think, how can we use AI in our jobs to do a better job, to provide a better service? And I think that's going to end up being a big opportunity. All that data is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and more deep knowledge is being created through that data. And artificial intelligence is taking all that data and all that deep knowledge and applying it to certain uses. Interestingly, a lot of you are government offices. I think a lot of you are going to be big beneficiaries of these new technologies, because a lot of what governments do is insurance. And insurance is going to be tied very tightly into the blockchain. It will be built into a smart contract. Ideally, it will be tied to Bitcoin. And in insurance today, you pay your premium, and then you make a claim. And there's this big nebulous fight about who gets what for the insurance. Well, if it's built into the blockchain as a smart contract, there is no discussion. The event happens, the people pay the claim, and it's done. The same kind of thing can happen in governance. Governance is providing insurance. A lot of government is providing insurance and fairness to its people. Well, if it's all built into the blockchain, that fairness is built in for every citizen of every country. And now it gets really interesting, because now we're starting to see countries compete for citizens across border, or at least residents across border. I'm a virtual resident of Estonia. These countries are all starting to compete with each other for you. And that creates a very interesting dynamic, which is really the same dynamic that's been working throughout the capitalist culture for years, where my suit, the people who made my suit had to compete with all the other people who made suits. The people who made my pen, same thing. The microphone that I'm using, same thing. They had to compete. Well, governments are the same way. Governments now are going to have to compete across border for you and me, for the brains, the capital, the citizens, the money, the entrepreneurs of the world, the businesses of the world. This is a big change. It's a huge sea change in the sociological advancement of the world. And you get to see it, and I get to see it, and this is really one of the great times in the history of our world. So enjoy the conference. I'm sorry I'm not there. All the best to all of you in Abu Dhabi. Thank you.